Well, Vandana Shiva is an environmental activist, philosopher, author, and one of India's leading physicists. She told Al Jazeera's Avi Lewis the latest summits are exposing them as a platform for wealthy nations to pursue their own agendas.
I think this moment basically spells the end of G20.
Really?
Because the G20 is now exposed as just another face of the G7, of the old G7, except now they're having to include countries like China and India, where they're bringing their pollution, bringing their mining, bringing the dumping of their GMOs, and obviously they have to have the governments of these countries on the table to lubricate decision making.
What do you think is most egregiously left off of the agenda for the summit?
I think the two most important things that have been left off the agenda is, one, the basic needs crisis of people of the South. For example, the crisis of hunger.
Whose streets? Our streets! Whose streets? Our streets!
Which has aggravated and increased half of India today is starving. So that growth and indications of double-digit growth are not reflecting the economic crisis people face. And the second really is the economic uncertainty linked to privatization on the one hand and cutbacks on the other, which are the recipes that are being used to get out of the economic crisis. The pain this is causing to millions and millions and millions is not registering. People have been left out. That's the crisis. And people, instead of these so-called elected leaders seeing themselves as representatives of the people, which they should, carrying people at every point in their minds, even when they sit at the table, all they can see is people as a threat, so that for every one person walking the streets of Toronto, there are 20 policemen. They're scared of the people. And they're scared because they're pushing an anti-people agenda.
What do you make of the cost of the summit and the extent of the security apparatus and the impact on that money could have had on this country alone?
Well, I think it's a shame that in a period of economic slowdown, where they destroyed the Copenhagen summit, saying they didn't have money to help countries adapt to the devastation of climate change.
Hey, you guys have got no right to arrest him. He's done nothing wrong.
And you blow up $2 billion to bring in a police in a very peaceful and democratic society. You can't say the Al-Qaeda is hiding here. You can't say the Indian Maoists came in to turn every peace-loving Canadian citizen into a potential terrorist. Can only be interpreted as absolute insanity, and I think it's a waste. Every bit of that money should have been spent where it needed to go, to save children's lives, to provide water so women don't have to walk long miles.